the legalization of things and the wonders of that. The best part of it was the food. I don't think I ate the same food twice. I pretty much went and at different places too. Like I think I went to the same place a couple of times. Mom wanted some specific foods that we went to a restaurant a couple of times because she really liked it. And I think I went to a couple of local Thai places a couple of times. But other than that, it was like breakfast, lunch, dinner, snacks were always at different places. Did no cooking, always eating out. It's so cheap there, man. Compared to what Taiwan is right now, it's half the price for the same thing.
Because the baht and the NT are about the same, right?
Basically the same, 1.1. Yeah, it's real close. The best part about the best part about Thailand was the food for me. But in Chiang Mai, we noticed something interesting. Like the portions are smaller. Like a plate of fried rice would be a little bit smaller, maybe like 10-20% smaller, which is fine. You don't need to eat as much. When it's half the price, I'm okay with a little bit smaller portion size.
I'm always okay with smaller portions.
Comparatively, yeah.
Just go
get
again,
more.
Yeah.
Yeah, or get two things instead of one thing.
Yeah.
But we would often order, like between the two of us, order 3 or 4 dishes and be totally satisfied and take home leftovers. Nice. So it was great. Never spent over. I think we went out a couple of times to some kind of fancy places and it was like 1,000 baht, which is like 1,000 NT, and that'd be like expensive. But most things are like 40, 50 baht. Plain rice and noodles, whatever, just 40, 50, and yeah, it was great. And then all the other stuff, the snacks, man, the markets with all the fun snacks and dried fruits and chips and crackers and all the fruit stands everywhere, like Taiwan, most like Asia. It's been more than 10 years since I've been in Chiang Mai, and it's changed a lot up there. A lot. Yeah. It was, and even my brother, who hasn't been there for 4 or 5 years, he said the same thing. He's like, yeah, it's changed a lot. Much more multicultural, a lot of tourists. That was kind of weird, seeing a lot of tourists wandering around. But yeah, other than that, it was great. 3 solid weeks of Chiang Mai was all I needed. I feel completely recharged and better.
Nice. That's how you can tell a vacation was long enough or good enough. Yeah. Were your
3
parents there
weeks
the whole time?
No, Mom was there for the first 2 weeks. She was there a week before me, and then she did we did 2 weeks together, and she left, and then I stayed another week after that.
Nice. Yeah, I mean.
And my brother stayed. Like he's there. He moved in. He's there for good now.
Wow.
Until something happens. But yeah.
Right, but he moved.
Yep. He's there. Yep.
Man, sounds nice. You might notice that my camera's got a different angle to it right now.
I do.
That means that's because I had some surgery over this Chinese New Year break. Nothing big. It's fine. I just can't sit down because of the surgery. It's on my lower back, upper ass area. So now we've got a couple guardian angels looking over me right now.
Very nice.
Alrighty, from Hardian. So glad to see y'all again. Love the video / streams. Cheers, Hardian.
Thanks, man.
Speaking of which, what are we doing here, Ben?
I'm talking to you. What are you doing?
Oh, well, we're on the internet.
No. Are we?
Yeah.
We're back in 2024. Wait, have we been on since 2024 already? Hey, it's a brand new year. 113. What year is it? 114?
Oh, God.
Oh, no.
I was born in 72. That was 83. So this would be 113.
Hey, welcome to a new episode of Critters in Taiwan, a D&D podcast about Critical Role, where a bunch of nerdy-ass voice actors sit around and play Dungeons & Dragons. I am Ben and Gao Sheng.
Finally, back from Thailand. I'm Tim and Tai Jung, back from the hospital here in Taiwan.
And we're Critters in Taiwan.
Did we not do one this year?
I think we did.
I think we did too, didn't we?
Man, I got lost in Chiang Mai, so I don't really know where we are right now.
Yeah, I mean, we couldn't do last week because, you were still in Thailand and I was busy healing up.
Yeah, right. So tonight we're actually talking about 2 episodes, last week's and this week's.
It's
83
February.
and 84.
Of course we've done something in January.
Sure.
It's a second month.
I totally believe you.
Yeah. Just have to check the videos. Shit, speaking of which, I haven't checked the comments either.
Oh, no, wait, I did too. We had a comment. A dude said we're Harley Davidson meets Dungeons and Dragons, something. I don't know what it means either.
What, the name or the comment?
I don't know the comment.
Oh, Harley Davidson meets.
Something like that. Yeah. Like, cheers, buddy. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for chiming in. Thanks for
Yep. We appreciate it.
being
So yeah,
interactive.
so we're talking about episode number 83, which was titled Ruidus.
Just straight up Ruidus.
Straight up. Well, because that's when they landed on the moon, right? So sure, Ruidus.
I kind of need that update because it's been a while since I've seen 83.
Oh, been a while. So and then episode number 84. I like this one. So 83 was Ruidus. 84 is Red Rural Revelations.
Oh, fuck.
4 R's.
Ruidus and Red Rural Revelations.
Yeah.
Red Rural.
That's a hard one. There's a lot. There's Ruidus, Red Rural Revelations.
Seems a little grandiose for what happened.
The Red Rural part gets me because it's too many Red Rural Revelations.
5 R's if you consider 83 and 84. Ruidus, Red Rural
made me giggle too. So yeah, that's what we're talking about tonight. I told you this before you hit record. I didn't really watch 83. I mean, I did watch 83, but I was like somewhere. I don't even remember where I was. I think I was at the Airbnb just chilling, and I walked away for a while and watched it in a couple of whatevers. Or no, hang on. Nope. We were at the hotel. That's right. I set up my hammock and I actually laid in my hammock and watched the episode in their hotel garden. It was quite nice
because the
lady
was looking after the tattoo shop.
That's right.
Parents were not
my mom
there
had already
reason.
left. My mom had already left at that point, and I sat down and I laid down in the hammock and watched it. Yep.
Man, you take that hammock with you on the road, huh?
Everywhere I go, everywhere. It's small and when I need it, it's really helpful. Yeah, it's like the size of a grapefruit. So it just fits in my backpack and I bring it everywhere. And I've used it in an airport before, man. You set it up in the airport in between flights. If you got a couple of hours, go find a gate nobody's using, and then set it up between chairs or in posts or on columns or whatever. You find a corner, set it up. Everybody looks at you, and then everybody leaves you alone. I had one security guy walk up to me and goes like, "Excuse me, sir, are you okay?" And I'm like, "I'm totally fine. I'm just reading a book here. I'm all good." And he's like, "Oh, okay." And then leaves.
What? Why check on you? What are they assuming that you're like setting up camp there? You're living there?
Maybe, yeah. Like I don't know why a homeless person would be hanging out in a gate terminal, but okay, sure. Or a gate in a terminal, but yeah.
Well,
sure.
They must have the reasons for
Yeah,
They'd have a hammock and to set up in a terminal after security. That doesn't make a lot of sense.
The best was I was in the Philippines ferry hopping, just island hopping, bouncing around and waiting for ferries. And when you're just sitting there waiting for the ferry to show up, you set up the hammock and just chill. And people are like, "Oh, you're so smart." Yeah, man.
Yeah, you get everybody's envy. That's what you get.
So should we? What else we got to talk about?
Well, I might want a little. I had watched 83 Ruidus 1.5 times. The first half they were just sneaking to get somewhere, right?
Right. It was the first half was combat.
Yeah,
it was all
based.
It was turn-based role-playing combat, whatever.
Yeah.
Which I love those. Those are fun ones because you get to see where they're going, and they don't necessarily make attacks or combat things, but it's turn-based, so they get to sort of all have a say in what's going on.
And then the second half, they ended at the beginning of 84, of course.
Yes.
So they ended and they found this person, and Matthew got really excited.
Yeah.
But I'm struggling to remember what that second half was.
They escaped from the guard. If you remember the what's his name? The floating guy, not the dream. I don't remember what that one was called. The flying guy. He came through with them, rang the bell. Bunch of others came in. They tried to fight some of them. They beat some of them. They ran away, and then they turned into farts and then flew away over and found that village. They landed in the village, went into a storage shed. 3 of them went into the storage, or 4 of them.
Some of them,
I think 2 of them stayed
right?
up. Yeah, 2 of them stayed up above the storage shed, and the rest were changing. And as soon as they changed, the what's his name? We found out his name is Dono.
Yeah.
Dono.
Lots of names here.
Oh boy. So Dono shows up and he looks at them and goes, "Oh, hello." And that's where they ended, and that's where 84 began.
Right. And that's I think all 5 of my little talking points here are from 84.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't have much to say about 83. It was a great episode. It was fun to see them on the moon, but wasn't a lot because they were it was so combat based and turn based. And then it was like, we're just running and they're flying and they see stuff, a lot of interesting stuff, but no real, questions or queries or confusing things. So
yeah, just a brand new place. So it's like, oh, hey, we're all just experiencing this together. And then they finally run into this creature, I don't know if that was Dono at the end of the 83.
Yes.
That was Dono.
It was Dono, yeah.
Yeah, and then he's like, that's where we're going to pick up next week. I'm like, oh, come on, man.
I've got so much to say about this. I remember I sent you that text on Friday night. I was like, dude, you really need to turn subtitles on for this one. I hope you did. Because, oh, dude, it didn't make, if you didn't turn the subtitles on, I can't wait to see how you spelled things. Because some of the words were amazing. Like, okay, just for example, how did you spell Wookor?
I didn't. I go off sound. I don't write it down.
Okay, because like the Wookors are the moon bison, the moon buffalo.
Right.
They have the horns, the 6 set of horns on them. They're called Wookors. Oof.
Yeah, I mean, I would just put, WUKOR, just,
Hey, not bad. It's WUUKORS.
That's too many U's.
Yeah.
WUU, that's confusing.
Yeah, WUUU.
KOR.
KOR.
Wookor.
Yep.
Okay, yeah. That was 84, right?
That's 84. So that's when we find out what things are called. Because this one. So should we just get into it?
Yeah, I think so. I gotta prioritize here.
It's all good. I was just gonna say the amount of lore dump. I was like, I started laughing about it. I'm like, why is Matt dumping so much? Like, why is Dono telling them? And then I realized, like, he's been holding on to this for who knows how long. Last week, he sort of gave a hint about saying, like, "Oh man, I can't believe you guys are you're here, and if only you knew." You could see the excitement on his face, and in this episode, he got to dump all that lore on us. So yeah, that
was this was Matthew service. These episodes, or at least the 84 was.
So I guess should we? I have a thing.
Yeah.
Should we get into it? Yeah, I got one right there.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That website's still showing that little sign.
Still doing the thing. All right. Ready?
With a 17, man.
I got a 19.
Oh, come on.
Not even
need
kidding.
Some proof.
Right there.
Yeah, I have a 19 also.
Oh, okay. Good.
It's on the die.
Maybe we should we get secondary webcams that are like dice cams?
If you want to purchase those, sure. Send them up to me.
Hey, I want to fundraise for that one. We could set up a Kickstarter for.
There we go. Little Patreon.
crowdsource secondary dice cam.
I don't know what I'm pointing at.
All right. Keep it clean. Okay, so right off the hop, so Matt dumps all this lore on us, where Dono just says who they are, what they are. So they've got 4 hands. They've got these big, huge hands that can't really do anything, and then they've got these tiny little hands, like Total Recall, Quaid sort of stuff from the moon. Did you get that feeling? That's the first thing I thought of was, oh, this is like Quaid from Total Recall with the remember Total Recall with Arnold, and he meets the guy in the moon. They go to the moon, and he meets the guy in the moon.
I don't know if I've seen this movie.
He's got a person growing in his chest, and that person's got little arms, and he's like the brain, the really smart one. You know what I'm talking about.
Barely rings a bell.
Anyway, that's what the first thing I thought. I'm like, they're on a moon, and they have extra arms in their chest. It's Total Recall. Huh. But anyway.
Did anybody say anything about that?
Yeah, I think somebody did. I think somebody mentioned, it was like, oh, it's Quaid. It's Quaid.
I guess it would be like Liam or Marisha, perhaps.
Maybe, or it was maybe Travis, I forget. Whoever it was, regardless. So all this lore.
Unless Sam's in it, he doesn't watch it. So
the big one that I got out of this was he's like, okay, Sam, I think, or FCG asks, how are you? How you speak common? How can you speak our language? Like, how do you know this? And Dono is like, well, no, we the Bormodos, that's what the people are called. We learn from the dreamers. So basically, this is my thing. When they sleep,
there's a lot
they
here.
watch dreams about Exandrians. Right?
Exandrians' dreams, right?
Whose dreams are they watching? That's my question.
Anybody's or only Ruidus born? I mean, okay. I don't know.
So there's not that many Ruidus born. So they're the only watching Ruidus born. That kind of would be cool. So they're only watching them. But he seemed to be saying that they're watching everybody's dreams.
That's what it seemed like. Yeah.
Right. So is that only humanoids?
I don't think so.
What about goblinkin or giantkin or how about vampires and liches?
I wonder if you need to have
dragons,
particular
like
intelligence to dream, right?
Dragons dream.
Are they watching dream?
Are they watching dragon dreams? Like whose dreams are they watching here? Are they watching every sentient being on Exandria dream? Because that just opened up something for me. I'm like, wait a minute.
Wow.
So it's not only humans. So it's like they're watching dwarves and elves and gnomes and all the what are half orcs? But are they watching full orcs? Are they watching the goblinkin, like which are ogres and giants and bugbears? And are they watching like the Kryn dynasty, the Kryn elves? Are they watching all of those dreams?
And do they know who's dreaming, or could they figure that out?
And doesn't that mean that they may be privy to, like, if they're watching, say, King Dwendal's, or if they're watching the Cerberus Assembly members' dreams, what are they privy to, like state secrets? And I started thinking about all these things. I'm like, wait a minute. So,
There's a lot to unpack here.
Yep.
I think like 2 or 3 of these points here that I've got written down have a lot to do with this, because I have a lot of questions about it.
I don't understand. I want to know more. What do you think? Do you think it's just only Ruidus born? Possibly.
I mean, when you say there's not a whole lot of Ruidus born, now I'm thinking, like, actually, yeah, how many are there?
Yeah, how many are there?
Like, I mean, in this party itself, there are 2. That's it.
Like oh, whoa, wait a minute. And then we find out later in the episode that it is the weave, I believe. Yeah, weave.
The mind weave or something.
The weave mind. They connect the population to the one who sleeps, and they control the flares. And if you're born under a flare, then you are Ruidus born. Mm-hmm. What if they are oh man, I'm getting
here we go
deep. Yeah. What if they're controlling the flares to set up the dreamers, so that their control of flare to happen when they need more people to dream of or dream with, watch the dreams of.
If they're only watching Ruidus born dreams.
If they're only watching, yeah. So if this, then that.
But they didn't say that though, right?
No, they didn't. They didn't say a lot of things.
I think that's why we have all these questions. But
that's my first not lack of understanding. I want to know whose dreams they are watching.
I'm gonna go ahead and weave my yes and with this, so we can go back and forth on it. The knowledge of one another is very one-sided, also.
Yeah. Oh, it's super voyeur. It's super voyeuristic.
Yeah. Nobody on Exandria knows about these moon folks, and then like these
most people in Exandria don't know about the
civilization on the moon.
Anything on the moon. Yeah, they just like, it's a red moon that sort of flares sometimes.
Yeah,
cool.
And everybody, well, seemingly so far, everybody on the moon is like, oh yeah, you're the dreamers. We know everything about you. We've watched your dreams for what, 500 years? The
more,
people have been
it's like 800.
Well, it was like 500 years that these mind weaves were in charge, right? Or somebody took over.
Yeah, they said that. Yes, yeah,
something
about 500
like that, right?
years. Yeah.
Yeah, so like they know all about it, but they don't travel there. I guess that maybe they can or can't. I guess they need the solstice to do it. But
no, they can't. They've only the bridge has allowed them to travel there so far. Because remember, the Ruidus is encased in a weave.
Right.
Oh, sorry, a lattice encased in a lattice of similar to the Divine Gate,
which was brought up briefly by Fern
Hmm.
and they seem to be ignorant of it.
Well, no, there was some. I think it was confusing about the. She was. I think she was trying to talk about the solstice nodes that you could see the ley lines
Yeah, ley
glimmering
lines.
in the sky, and I think she was asking that, and then somebody was like, "No, it's You mean the lattice?" And then she was like, "Yeah, but that's not what she meant."
I don't think
There
so.
was
Yeah.
there was I think it was just miscommunication between the two terms. I think she meant about the ley lines and how they're all lined up and they create these nexus points. But they got confused thinking about it was the lattice of the divine this second divine gate
Right.
or divine cage, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah. Divine. What was that? Manners. What was that little cage?
Oh, manners, yeah. The force cage. And that kind of reminds me of something else too. Oh man, what was it? Oh no, it's gone. It'll come
Oh
back.
no, it'll come back. Um, yeah,
Oh,
this goes into my third point too, or my
hmm.
point that I was going to say after this, but I could wait
Oh,
for.
that's what it was. So if they've been okay, so nobody on Exandria knows about well, very few. Nobody knew. Now people do know about the cities, and they know that there's something going on there. More and more and more people are knowing about it. Clearly, Ludinus has known for a long time. He's set these plans in motion because, like Ira Windigoth, he knew about it because he had that lens from Nana Mori, and he was looking at the cities through that telescope device thing. They've been watching Exandria. So, in theory, there were people or there were entities on Ruidus that saw the calamity.
Whoa. Hold on a second. When did Ruidus come about? Because it was supposed to come from Exandria, right?
Right, but that's during the
Schism.
schism. Yeah, when they fought the primordials, after they beat the primordials, Predathos shows up. Something we don't really know exactly, and they defeated him. They fought with the what are the ones, the betrayers. They fought with them against Predathos, scooped out a chunk of Exandria, sent it up, encased it into with a lattice like the divine gate, sent it up into orbit. Done. Then calamity happens. They fight with the gods. They send the gods away. Then the betrayer gods come back. They fight again. Then they create the divine gate. Right? Is that the right order?
It seems right so far.
So
I thought there was a time on Exandria where some people did not see Ruidus. I thought
they
that
didn't.
was
They never. I don't. To the best of my knowledge, they never
after
said that.
Calamity.
Matt, way back in the beginning of this campaign, when they looked at those ancient texts, remember they were trying to get those ancient texts that were in Vasselheim that got stolen. Then they tried to get them back, and they had that whole thing where those Vasselheim priests were trying to chase them down, and they sent those crazy blank-faced enforcers to try and get the texts, but they never got them.
Right.
Those texts, I believe, I have to go back and look at my old notes, but those text said that Ruidus was there.
Okay.
As far back as anybody can remember, Ruidus has always been there.
Okay.
Which in my mind means that because when they look up in the sky, they see this giant blue marble and they can make out features. It's not that far away, and it's much, much bigger, right? So you can imagine sort of looking up at the moon and then looking up at Exandria, you see this giant thing. That means that people or entities on the moon may have seen giant cataclysmic events that shaped Exandria. Can you imagine being this little caveman type person, super primitive, looking up and going, why are there these giant fireball explosions and why are mountains moving around? And like, if in the Age of Arcanum, if you're up on Ruidus, you're watching what was the name of that the city? Oh, like crap, sorry.
Oh, Cleveland? The one on Ruidus?
Remember they took the mountaintop and they lifted the mountain up, and then the mountain travels around Exandria following the ley lines, and then it lines up, and that was the
Aesmere fucking
no, Malaysmere is this corrupted city. That was the Elven city.
I'm thinking of something that starts with an
A. Not Aor. It's Aor was a flying city as well, though. So imagine being on
between Malaysmere and Aor. I feel like the name's in there somewhere.
You're seeing these giant flying cities moving around above you and going, what is that? Like, imagine the lore or the mythology.
The mythology, yeah.
Yeah, it's just all of that came to mind for these couple of. I'm like, wait, so they've been watching, they've been dreaming, they've been following the dreams, they've been learning from the dreams for centuries now. What does that mean for this culture?
Yeah. And like, man, are they prophets? Do they all see the dreams? There's a lot of questions here. And like, if you're seeing activity going on up there, and then you see some dream that, like dreams don't necessarily have to do with what's going on in the place, but this is a different world than our world.
Totally.
So their God influences can maybe change what they dream about, especially in like Imogen's case. But she's Ruidus born, so I don't know if that's.
I think
too many things in the air.
Too many things. I big part of this is at the root of all of this is I want to know who came up with this. Is this 100%? I've asked this question before. Is this 100% Matt, or is this is he got, because he said remember we've talked about this before. He's got consultants. He has people come in, and he has cultural consultants because he doesn't want to step on toes, and they've got all these people that are working with them. What does that mean? Who came up with all of this stuff? Did he do it on his own? Because if so, fucking kudos. But I doubt it. I think this is a lot of. There's no way he comes up with all these names on his own, or maybe he does. Awesome if he does.
I think with the names he probably does. I mean, he's probably the one that thinks about it most.
Of course.
But I mean, if I was one of his advisors, I'd be like, "Hey, think about this name for maybe a half work in the future." Be like, "Well, I'm okay. I got it." Because he also comes up with them on the spot sometimes,
Sure, and I know it's D&D, and I know real world physics, biology, chemistry, etc. Real world science doesn't apply. But sorry, am I stealing all of your points here?
No, it's the same one again, though.
Okay. The like.
It's apropos. It's
evolutionary biology is still a thing in D&D. It is. I mean, I know magic's involved, and I know that changes some things, but in this situation on a moon, okay, number one, he did talk about gravity being the same. That's fucking weird.
Yeah.
But when I guess it just simplifies.
It's got to be magic involved if that's the case.
It's got to be. Yeah, and then but then you still have not everybody has magic, so there is still there's still physics and biology and chemistry still involved. So it's got to be, there's reasons. How did they evolve 4 arms? Where did these races come from? Were they created?
Did they come from Exandria? Did they come from somewhere else?
If the lore is correct, or the mythology is correct, where like all of Bell's Hell seems to believe that they was scooped like a giant ice cream scoop out of Exandria, flung up into the air, up into space. So does that mean that some of the ecology goes with it? Well, then how did it evolve this way?
Yeah.
Like there's no beings, little, hunched beings with elephantine noses that have tiny arms coming out of them and have symbiotic relationships with Saida. Like what?
Yeah. The first things I thought was gravity, which they did address, and then atmosphere, which I haven't really heard much about it. Rainfall, volcanic activity, geothermic activity, and all that kind of stuff that you see on regular place like Exandria
oxygen.
Or Earth. Oxygen levels, and I just
where does oxygen come from? If there's no very, very, very minimal vegetation and no ocean. Where does because most of Earth's oxygen comes from the ocean, right? So if there is no,
right?
if there,
I don't know.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. But most people think that it's like the rainforest and the trees, but it isn't. It's most of Earth's oxygen comes from plants in the ocean.
Yeah, sure.
There's way more ocean plants than there are trees. Like there's weird things. There's more trees on Earth than there are stars in the Milky Way. That's fucked up. But but that's because of the taiga that goes all the way around the northern hemisphere. It's an uninterrupted band all the way across Canada, Russia, basically all the way across. There's more trees on Earth than there are stars in the Milky Way. But there's even more, way more plants in the ocean than there is plants on land. Of course, it's mostly Earth is 70% ocean. So yeah. Anyway, so where is Ruidus getting its oxygen from? Where?
I gotta look at this trees versus stars thing. 'Cause it's like hundreds of billions of stars, hundreds of billions of trees.
Trillions.
Oh, I'm gonna have to look that up. I'm doubting you.
Go look it up. Neil deGrasse Tyson teaches me a lot of things.
Yeah, I see him a lot on Facebook these days.
I just got his new book, man. It's great. It's really great.
I didn't know he was still writing. I thought he was just like, I'm good. I'll just
To Infinity and Beyond is the newest one, and it's amazing. It's really good. Hey, I think we should probably do rollies now.
Yeah, sure. Okay.
Please win. I've talked enough.
Well, I think we're just gonna go back and forth on basically the same things here. I got a 7.
I got a 3.
Hey, how about that? All right. Well, physical properties of the moon. I'm just gonna gloss over that because like I don't think there are any answers for that. I'm just like, okay, Predathos is the sleeping one. What do they call him?
The one who sleeps.
The one who sleeps. Maybe there's a lot of
he who shall not be named. It's very Harry Potter-ish, right? Like he who shall not be named. One who sleeps.
He who sleeps. And then we had the whispered one. It's like yeah, okay. So these godly types like to have their little nicknames.
Yep.
Like
don't say the name.
Don't say my name in vain or ever.
Fern asks like, does it start with a P? And
yeah,
he's like,
you know who it is.
Yeah, you know who it is.
Yeah. So I guess more about the moon dwellers. What would I call a moon dweller? Because they have different races and different species, right?
Ruidians.
Ruidians, perhaps. Yeah, sure. Okay, so I have like a list of questions here. So so the moon dwellers, when they die, they become dreamers, and dreamers just walk into a shop with pastries. And the Ruidians, like they aren't in awe or scared. They're just like, oh hi, and they were told not to talk with dreamers. Like, is it common for dreamers to show up? It's just strange. Like someone comes in, it's like let's say a demon walks into my house, and it's like, oh, are you from hell? I was always wondering if that place existed.
Mm-hmm.
But I can't see hell in the sky, so
no. I think I don't think any dreamers have shown up in until recent years.
So very recently, right?
Yeah, very recent. Since
500 years, really, because there was
So as far as I understand, since the bridge, that's
there's
been
an influx, right?
Well, I don't think anybody's been able to travel there until the bridge. That was the whole point of the bridge,
right?
Was that it would allow people to go there. But can't teleport there.
The fucking what was the 500-year thing then?
That's the 500-year thing was right.
Empyreans were in control, right?
The Weave mind has of the Empyrean, the Crevirus Imperium. The Crevirus being the capital city. The Crevirus Imperium has been in control.
Revelations, Crevirus Imperium.
Yes, they've been in control for 500 something years now. Before that, I think it was all just sort of like whatever, no civilizations, probably just a lot of tribal stuff going on. But now it looks like in the past 500 years, Predathos is starting to wake up. So he gives his followers a little bit more power. They take control. They create a capital city. They start to dominate the locals, start to influx of a war machine. A military industrial complex rises, and now they are ready. And lewdness creates a way for them to come in.
Wasn't founded by a dreamer, is what we're saying.
No, I don't think so. There's
I
another
just
wrinkle.
Assumed it was for some reason.
There's another wrinkle I just thought of because from the get-go, Imogen has been able, not from the get-go, but since she got her powers, she was able to summon Rylorans. So in theory,
actual physical Rylorans, right?
Yeah, who look around and go,
and they speak common.
This is Exandria.
That's interesting.
I'm here.
Oh wow, yeah, that's fucking interesting.
So does that mean that other aberrant mind sorcerers are able to do the same thing throughout history? Have been able to summon other Rylorans who then go back to Ruidus and go, hey guys, guess what just happened to me? I just got summoned to Exandria. It's right. It's true. It's real. The dreamers are real, and they blah 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 blah, and it's intel.
Do they get turned into prophets?
Yeah, maybe.
Like they get higher seats in government if they have it up there.
Oh, wow.
Because they're like, I've seen it. I was there. It's like, how do
Yeah, I
we
was there.
know? And like, if they
Yeah.
spell it out, and the other dream, I don't know. Hey, there's so many questions, man.
There's sects and sects, right?
Like somebody on Earth is like, oh, I saw God. I saw His visage in a in a near-death experience. We're like, oh, really? And then they tour and they talk to people.
Isn't that the basis of modern religion on on Earth? That's
yeah.
Wow, I never thought about that. So
prophets and visions.
If those Rylorans did go back with information about Exandria because they were summoned, what does that mean?
What is Imogen doing to the society up there? Every time she goes into a battle, someone gets promoted.
Like, if you were really intelligent and really on it, you could really fuck up Ryloran society by feeding false information.
Oh, jeez.
Like, if you're just an aberrant mind sorcerer and you're able to summon Rylorans.
Is that homebrew, by the way?
No, it's a real thing.
Okay.
I think the summoning Ryloran part is homebrew, but the other stuff, no. Like you summon in the player's handbook, under that spell, there's like 3 different kinds of star. I think they get summoned from the astral sea. They're beings from the astral sea that get summoned, and there's like 3 different kinds.
That's like the
that you can
D&D
summon.
version of Cosmos, right? The
astral sea, yeah, basically. Yeah. But you in the player's handbook, you can summon 3 different kinds, and they're of different. Like Matt's homebrewed them. One is like the Juggernaut, the Shrike, and then the regular one, which is the one that Imogen always summons, the normal one. But so if they,
it's not the same one, is it?
No, but it's the same type.
Right.
Same class, same whatever you want to call it. But that means, like, if you're a dude sitting in a cave somewhere in the mountains, every day you can summon 3 of them. You just set up false narratives to feed into Ryloran society about Exandria, and then set up whatever. I don't know how that works.
Maybe they don't remember.
Oh, maybe.
Because when they show up, they're not like, oh, wow, this is Exandria? None of them are doing that.
No, but to a degree they are. There's a couple of them been showing up, and Matt's like, you see it looking around and going,
really? Okay.
I'm here. And Imogen's like, what?
That has happened.
It has happened, yeah. They look around and they go, oh, I'm here. And looking back at it now, it makes sense. But at the time, I was like, oh, that's weird.
Maybe that's why I didn't notice it, because I'm like, what?
I was thinking more it was along the lines of like Fey realm stuff, where a Fey creature shows up and goes, oh, wow, I'm not in the Fey realm anymore. I'm somewhere else. Yeah. That was how I sort of wrote it off as. But I know.
I guess like the Barlgura from Campaign 2, maybe it just doesn't have the intelligence to care where it is, if it even, it's just a creature of some sort.
Yeah, but Matt fully described them as looking around cautiously, going, well, I'm here.
That's a good catch.
Yeah,
I think I just
it makes sense now.
Yeah.
No, I didn't either. But now that I'm looking back at it and thinking about it, it's like, okay, wait a minute. Long game, long game.
Yeah. Okay. So now, is this just a belief then that these Ruidians become dreamers when they die, or is that like you get lucky to become a dreamer? And they're just so casual about it, at least in episode 84.
No, I fully believe that's just cult shit. That's like, hey,
sounds like cult shit.
Jump in the cult, and this is what happens when you're part of the cult, and when you die, you get to go to there.
Maybe it's just what the Empyreans have, pushed on them.
100%, that's what it is.
And then, like,
that's just cult shit.
And dreamers just walk into Dono's area, and he's just like, "Oh yeah, are you Empyreans?" And they play the whole game.
Yep.
And then it's like,
I have to report you.
You're dreamers, and that's it. It's like,
yeah,
it's just so casual and so calm. Yep. It was very strange. Like everybody there's like, oh, we're called dreamers because we're from that place. Yeah, and it's just also just a matter of fact. We are from that place
because everybody dreams, right? They know about their dreams. They recognize them. They're like, oh, you're the people we see in our dreams every night. But we sleep, we think about you. But which is back to my first question: who are they dreaming about? Only common people, like only the good races? Why are they not dreaming about the evil races? And Matt has alluded to underwater cities existing.
Yeah.
At the campaign wrap up, he talked about that. So it's like, wait a minute, are they dreaming about the underwater peoples as well? Like these underwater societies? Are they only dreaming about Exandrians? What about the other planes of existence?
Oh.
It's, like, yeah, questions.
Well, Exandria. What, hold on. Okay, that might be a stupid question. Exandria just exists in the prime material plane, right?
Exandria is the prime material plane. In
Okay.
D&D lore, it is the prime material plane.
That makes
That's
sense.
it.
Yeah.
Full
Because like
stop.
the Feywild doesn't have the same. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
No, it's the Fey realm and the Shadow realm and the other ones are overlays on the prime material plane, which is Exandria. Full stop. There are other. I mean, Matt played Pathfinder for a long, long time. So in Pathfinder lore, it's Golarion is the main planet in Pathfinder, and it's the prime material plane. There are other planets and there are other things that live on them, but they're
And
not considered.
he means plane, like flat, like a disc.
Yes. Confirmed, by the way. It's
Yeah.
because it's a locked orbit. So yeah.
Yeah. It's just always facing you. That's why it always looks
facing.
round. Yep.
Yep.
Does it rotate?
Well, like our moon is the same as a synchronous orbit, right? So
Yeah, it's tightly
yes.
locked.
Yeah. Yes.
So it's also a disc. Yeah, sure.
Sure.
Yeah, I guess that's that one. Are we ready for another rolly? I mean,
Sure.
we could talk about this for ages.
I know. I'm gonna say that I did the that was my yes and
I mean, it's basically the discussion.
it basically is
It's like
sure.
we're just basically waiting for episode 85. So, because like maybe some of these questions will be answered, or maybe a four-sided dive coming up.
We have one coming up in March. They said there
so.
They said there isn't one in February, so we'll get one in March for sure, and there'll be a lot to talk about. I just wrote this down as a quick little note, an aside. It's a throwaway. Who do you think Elder Barthy's voice was based on?
Johnny Carson.
Or Carl Sagan? Which one?
I didn't get a Carl Sagan from it.
Oh, I did. I got a Carl Sagan vibe out of it. Mostly Johnny Carson.
Well, he started with like, it's wild stuff. He started with that.
Yep. But then I got out of Chew. His Saida was the symbiote was. I felt like it was a direct ripoff of. Remember in Campaign 2, the orc lady, Wako.
Yeah.
That's all I got out of that one was. Oh, I'm like, Chew is Wako. Definitely. Anyway, that's all. I just want to throw just a throwaway thing.
Yeah,
All right, rollies.
I didn't realize that how similar Johnny Carson and Carl Sagan sounded until this moment.
They really do. They really
thinking of
do.
like those videos of.
I think it's just everybody on TV talked that way in the 70s.
It's kind of like how sports announcers, they're just like, "Hey, and he took a good hit."
Well, good hit there to the side, and he's going. They all talked out of the side of their mouth like that transatlantic way of talking. Okay.
It's wild stuff out there in the cosmos.
Wild stuff in the cosmos. Millions and billions.
Oh, did not realize how similar those voices were. 16, buddy. What you got?
4.
Alrighty. Well, since the conversation's really not quite over until the next episode gives us, I don't even expect answers from the next episode.
No.
I'm going to say that after the battle in the second half, the elder guy that we were just talking about, he uses the term "tits up," and I'm like, that is such a. I mean, I don't really use the term "tits up," but I know exactly what it means. But this is a Ruidian saying the word "tits up." The terms
dream.
"tits up." Well, I mean, a dream I had last night or a couple nights ago, I was trying to count different stacks of cash. But in the dream, I was like, dude, this is a dream. You can't keep track of numbers right now.
Yeah.
So like I stopped worrying about it. I'm like, you'll count these when you wake up. That was my dream state.
You told yourself about what you can and can't do in a dream?
Yeah, I lucid dream quite a bit.
How boring is that? I literally don't put limits on my dreams ever.
Well, I mean, like when you try to read something in a dream, it's pretty tough, So I'm like, don't even try, man. It's a dream, And like trying to count numbers in different stacks of like 1s and 5s and 10s. And I was like, dude, you're not going to keep track of these numbers. You're in a dream. Don't worry about it until you wake up, which is funny. But like you're like, oh wait, I'm in a dream. I could try flying, I guess, and then you can start flying. Anyway, he says tits up in reference to something. I kind of forgot what it was. Okay. But do they have the same idioms? Do they have the same colloquialisms, as like all these?
Must do.
Because like, oh, that's what it was. Because the dream connection doesn't
Yeah.
necessarily have language,
Yep.
There's not necessarily talking when I'm lucid dreaming. It's just like
When
information,
I think it was about a year or so into Taiwan that I started dreaming in Chinese.
That's a good sign. That means that your Chinese is getting pretty good,
Yeah, like I remember that. I remember dream. It was about a year or so that I had been here when
That was a couple years in,
the first Chinese dreams started happening. So yes, we haven't heard if they actually have a language yet, right? Like we haven't heard them if they have a local language. I'm gonna guess they don't, because there is no reason to have a local language if you're telepathic.
And if you already had one too.
Yeah, and most people in well, all the Roylorans are telepaths, right? They all can speak with their mind. So you don't need language. So they only really need common, which would make sense if they're just dreaming about Exandrians. They speak that common language, and then everything else is telepathic.
Yeah, and like
weird.
If Ruidus actually did come from scooping out Exandria, then I guess the culture and the biology, etc., stems straight from that.
Yeah.
But depending on where that scoop came from, there might not just be common. There could be another language, like what are they called? The Dragonborns. They speak Draconic, right?
Draconic. Yep.
Is that the word?
Yep. Elves speak Elven. Dwarves speak Dwarvish.
Is there Gnomish?
Yeah, there's a gnome language. There's a druidic language, which is secret to only the druids.
Yeah, so if they have two different languages.
There's goblin, there's ogre. I think most of the goblins speak the same language. I think like the goblinoids are.
Goblin can't.
That's dwarf. That's undercommon is the dark elves.
Right.
Then there's all kinds of languages, man. So. Right. How does that work?
I would think that maybe they do have a language of their own. Or
maybe
different languages for different folks. I mean,
we'll definitely find out.
Look at how many languages there are in Taiwan, There's like, 14 different tribes and like 20 different languages or dialects or whatever. There's
Mandarin, Taiwanese, Hakka, and then there's a bunch of others.
Yeah, it's like in the teens or maybe early 20s of other languages, right?
All the dialects, yeah.
Yeah,
Polynesian dialects. Hakka is Chinese, but the rest of them are all like are Polynesian dialects. Yeah.
Yeah, from like indigenous folks that were here before China was even a thing.
Yep. Yeah. They're Polynesian. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wild.
Just like if one of the people from Bell's Hells comes in and they say something that's colloquial or idiomatic or some
how does
adage from the past,
how does that float? I think
do
it
they
might be a
understand
little
it or
bit
not?
Yeah, because idioms are the problem, right? That's one of the biggest problems with English. Why it's so difficult to learn. Huh? I never thought about that.
When you said tits up, I'm like, huh? Okay, I know, but hey, magic. So who knows, right? That's the last one that ties in without any more information. Like, this is all up in the air.
Okay, well, I'm just going to jump to the second half then, because that's where...
that's where that was.
Yeah,
half.
That's where I'm going right now. I don't know. Like, I like the second half a lot. I thought, because, I'm a combat whore. I like that stuff.
Definitely a whore,
yep. I really liked Matt saying, okay, I would like you to roll initiative. It doesn't have to be combat. You have choices here. It could be combat. You could de-escalate. You could run. You could do. There's a bunch of different things you could do here, and then like Orem, Liam gets the first up, and he's like, I don't know what to do here, but I'm just gonna go and do this, and I'm gonna go and blah blah blah, and I'm gonna like bait and switch with the elder and stand in the way and be okay, ready to go here, and then Laudna comes in and goes.
Fireball.
Right off the even before Liam said it, that the meme of I didn't ask how big the room is, I said fireball. So it's like that meme comes in. I was like, yeah, that's the right way. It was good. So it's sort of like back of the envelope math. She did well over 250 points of damage with that fireball. It was good. Like hit 8 or 9 of them for 32 points of damage. You know,
It's just massive.
so good. So good. Brilliant way to use a 4th level fireball.
I bet she couldn't wait, you know?
Yeah.
But like, she was able to not hit any friendlies, right?
Because of they're in the building, and then it would have hit people inside, but because of the wall, it doesn't. Yeah, really, really clever way to use fireball. They were all bunched together, right? They were all bunched together, and it's like, oh, you're out the door.
Yeah, there you go. Boop.
Yep, little fireball. That's all. I just wanted to sort of comment about that. I don't really have much more to say. I've got a couple of other things to say about like later on in the combat, but. Which I could say now if you want.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I've only got one little tiny ass little yes and.
It's
not even necessary, but
the meat shield ability, literally what Matt called it, the meat shield thing, is one of the coolest ideas I've ever seen in D&D. That was an amazing thing. Like
Remind us?
The Will Master as their action, or bonus action, whatever, probably an action, pulls all of the surrounding peoples around into them. And now they are as a thing. I initially thought, I'm like, oh, okay, so as their reaction, they're going to be able to come in and do like deflect the attacks and all of that. But nope, ongoing. Just as long as there are allies around the Will Master, Matt rolls a dice. And if it's a certain number, they much like mirror image, the attack goes to them, or the whatever goes to them. It's a really, really, really cool thing. Meat shield. Yeah, literally what he called it, a meat shield. Travis jokingly called it a meat shield, and then Matt confirms, yeah, no, that's what it's called. It's called meat shield. So cool. Very fucking under the radar, cool sort of thing. Like as a longtime player of D&D, that's something I've never seen before, and I thought it was very cool.
Huh.
Very cool.
Does it have to be a willing member? Could it be a dead body?
No, because I think it's got to be alive for sure. Because otherwise they can't do a reaction. But they couldn't do it as a thing. But she flares her eyes, and then everybody in the village flares, their eyes go white, flare, and then they all come running in. And Matt even says, yeah, no, everybody in the village does that.
That's nasty, dude.
It's super nasty.
Oh, man.
Like every single person, which sort of made me think, well, why don't the Bell's Hells do that? Like, why aren't they under the same sway? Is it because the village has been under the, but there's no way Dono and Barthy and the rest of them want to do this. Not a chance. They're not willing, but they're compelled to. So why aren't Bell's Hells also compelled to do this? Why isn't it straight up domination? Is it because she's been here and exerted her control over them many, many times before, so now they are just under her sway all the time? Is this the reformed Shrike Zesh? Are they under the Edmund? What's the name? Edmundo. Where's it? I wrote it down. Edmuda. Edmuda is the Shrike Zesh. Reformed Shrike, now a glassmith. Are they also under Edmuda's control? Or is like everybody in the caravan under? Is that a thing when you're in a caravan with a Will Master, you just are under their control no matter what? But the village wasn't. The villagers weren't. Maybe. The what's the village called? It's called Razora. Is everyone in Razora? Are they also under her? They were. We know that. But why are they under her control when she does this ability? Because I think it's because like she's been here before many times and exerted her will. I'm guessing, now that I'm thinking about it, I'm openly amusing here. They that there are many will masters for all of the one assigned to each village, and they just their whole thing by the Imperium. The Weave Mind sends them out and goes like, "Hey, get these villages under control. You go in there as it's sort of like Hunger Games shit, right?
Yeah.
Like they have a representative from the capital city that is goes out there and is under their makes sure that all the populace is under the control, and if they aren't, they get flogged. Same sort of deal with these villages, like right?
Religion, tyranny. I mean,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
look at North Korea.
dictator shit. Yeah, exactly. So is that the way it is? I guess.
Perhaps, like
It
if you're
feels
not
like
under the influence, then you can't do it. I mean, like
I don't know.
some things only affect undead and skeletons and shit like that.
Yeah,
Like, but
and
not
some things
living.
don't affect undead. They don't affect certain things. So yeah, I guess so. I don't know. That's sort of my point. We don't know enough. But
Yeah,
but
that's interesting.
questions like why wasn't Bell's Hells? Why didn't they have to make saving throws? It's not like a charm person effect or like a mass charm sort of effect. So but how did the other ones get under the influence in the first place? Why are
Yeah,
they compelled to do this meat shield thing?
a willing or
That's
unwilling creature. Yeah, like
yeah.
where's that line drawn? Yeah.
Right. Right. Where is that line drawn?
Huh.
I
I
don't
mean,
know.
with so many questions about all these things, like, idioms, language, how dreamers are just like, oh, hey, you must be dreamers from that place that we all go to when we die.
Right.
Like
Right.
everything just seems so casual and understood. I don't know. Part of me thinks, which I'm sure is wrong, that it wasn't completely thought through. But that can't be the case because it's never been the case.
It's never been the case, and it never will be the
It
case.
never will
Not a
be.
chance.
It can't be.
Not
Because,
a
like, the
chance.
first thought, physical properties of this moon, oh, the gravity's the same, the atmosphere is the same. What about plant life, biology, evolution? Forget it, man. It's
100%.
there's something's gonna
No,
explain
no,
it
no,
or
no.
retcon it.
They've thought this through. Like and I say they because it's not just Matt. It can't be.
It can't be. I mean,
There's too many details. Way too many details. And he's not. I mean, he's a brilliant dude, brilliant fantasy guy, but he's not a scientist. He doesn't have those, and yet he's got all the answers for it. So for these things, he's like, they ask him about gravity, and he's like, gravity feels normal. So he thought about it. He thought about all these things. You're thinking about he's like, Sam is like, is there rocks here? Can I do a thing? And Matt's like, yeah, it's shale and stuff. Sure, you can gather it together. All been thought out. But I know from experience, like you don't think of these things on your own. It takes a village. So yeah, kudos to everybody who's working on this, but I want to know more. I want answers, damn it.
I think we just gotta wait.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. Well, let me do one final little thing.
Do it.
I resonated with Marisha at 2 hours, 53 minutes, and 2 seconds of timestamp gif of the Twitch stream.
I have one right before that.
She says,
right after that.
or what was it? Let me set it up right. It's Talison's go, and he's like, I'm gonna rage, and he rolls his D4 for his rage.
I know what you're talking about.
And he's like, oh, well, that's interesting, and he just he does this little Taliesin thing where he just says like, I know something, but you guys don't know yet, and he goes through a couple of rounds of that, and then Marisha's over there very casually, very calmly like, I never know what Talison's talking about.
Yeah.
Gets a couple giggles. But I was like, yes, Marisha, yes.
And then right after that, Sam's like, yeah, you high score on Gattaca, right? Like you're come in there and all you turn into space invaders and you're blah, 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 boop, 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 boop. The comments after that, like full on. I agree.
Yeah. It's just
homebrew
funny.
shit is funny. Like, and Taliesin really leans into that homebrew stuff. I mean, as far as that goes,
he loves to know something that other people don't know, and then tell you later.
but Sam does the exact same thing, but doesn't get anywhere near the amount of grief.
Yeah.
We know nothing about FCG's cleric homebrew. Like he's constantly pulling out shit like sympathetic binding. I'm going to take their hit points. I'm going to do this, and he's got all these names. But it's because it's Sam. It's kind of cutesy. Whereas with Taliesin, it's slightly aggressive or secretive,
aggressively
or
nerdy.
Yeah,
Like
yeah, yeah. Passive aggressively nerdy, secretive, whatever you want to call it.
yeah,
It's
because like Sam's not sitting there being like, "Oh, this will be interesting." I get
yeah,
you guys can't wait until for me to tell you what it is. That's Talison's approach every time.
100%,
And
$100.
I've known people like that in the past. And I'm like, "Oh,
Hmm.
Taliesin, we
Yeah,
know we'll get it out of you
yeah,
eventually."
yeah, yeah, exactly. So, like I
Just
said,
for
like
right now,
Sam
it's a
does the
precious
same.
little
It's
secret until you.
FCG's homebrew is the same thing, and I mean, it's yeah, it's weird, but it's fun. It's good.
Yeah, that was just
I have one more little timestamp as well.
sure.
At 3 hours, I forgot about this one. I just noticed it when you said the timestamp. Like, oh, I wrote down a timestamp. 3 hours, 6 minutes, 54 seconds.
Timestamp give.
Orem, the fighter battle master, casts hex at the will master.
I did not catch that.
What the fuck is up with that?
What the fuck is up with that?
Yeah, he's pure fighter.
Yeah.
No
They
spells.
just leveled up. He's only
Right.
fighter.
Still fighter. It's gotta be. I went to chat for this one. They're like, he dipped in warlock. No, he didn't.
He's
He
100%
did this,
fighter, right?
and then people started bringing up in chat. They're like, Fey touched, Fey touched, Fey touched, and I'm like, what's that? So I looked. I'm like, oh,
I mean, he can
so-
druid craft.
yeah, but
So
that
there's
was no, that was way before. That's a background thing.
Right.
Matt gave him Abria gave him that in EXU whatever unlimited
Before campaign
Fine.
3. Yeah.
Right. But that, so he had Druidcraft as a part of his Arashari thing. This comes from, has to, Nanamori. This has to come from Nanamori, where he does the bargain with her.
I was going to say.
That's where it comes from. And it's got to be Fey touched, because with Fey touched, it's a feat. So they all get ABI or feat. So he chose feat, has to be. He chose Fey touched, which gives him a +1 to charisma or wisdom, Misty Step.
That's great for him.
And it's going to be amazing when he uses it. And a first level spell from enchantment or divination. And he clearly took enchantment, which is hex. Has to be. It's the only way. It's the only thing that makes sense.
It's the first time we've seen it. First and only time we've seen it.
Because if you look at everyone's face when he does that, it's again 3 hours. 3 hours. Go back and check it out. 3 hours, 6 minutes, 54 seconds in the Twitch stream.
54. What'd you say?
54. 3 hours, 6 minutes, 54 on the Twitch. He full on does this, and everyone at the table goes, what the? Like, you can, Travis, Marisha, Laura.
I imagine Laura quite a bit.
They all turned and like, what? Where does hex come from? So yeah, he does this thing, and everyone's sort of like, where the fuck did that come from?
Wait, who had hex? Taliesin had hex as Percy,
No,
right? Wait, or did Laura have it?
Wait. No, because Laudna casts hex all the time.
But in the first campaign.
In the first campaign, it's probably Percy.
Because there was hex because she was a ranger and she could track the person she hexed.
That's
right?
Hunter's mark.
Hunter's mark.
Yeah. Hex came from probably from Percy when he dipped into Warlock.
Horn of Orcus.
Yeah, well, he went fighter gunslinger warlock when they made the deal with the demon.
Right.
Orcus.
Horn of Orcus? No.
Nope.
The Horn of Orcus, it's a similar name. Orthax. Thank you. Yep. Well done.
So yes, he dipped into warlock for that one, but that's the warlock, and Ford was a warlock, so he did that. Laudna is a warlock, so she does it all the time. Hex is a wonderful thing. It's great, but Orem, the fighter, has successfully done this without dipping into warlock, which is kind of a first we've seen.
Yeah. I'm gonna go back and check that out. 3654.
Yeah. Go check it out, because everyone's face at the table is like full on like, oh, they all look, and the look of confusion on their faces is good. So like for me, that's it's using, we see Liam's real brilliance in making boring sword and board fighters really interesting.
Yeah.
Really interesting.
It's just inherent with Liam being Liam.
He's so good at taking classes to the next level and going, like, yeah, you can do all of this, but watch what else you can do. So it's just ways of making the fighter, which is historically, you give newbies at the table a fighter class or a barbarian. You're like, here are the two classes you can play. They're very easy. And Liam showing like, no, this is way more interesting than normal. So yeah, very cool. Very cool.
I think that's a big difference between like say Sam and Liam versus Taliesin, because Liam will sit there and he'll be like, I cast Hex. Just drops the mic on everybody.
Yeah.
Everyone's like, whoa, what
Yep.
the fuck? Sam, same
Yep.
thing. He's like, I'm going to cast Sympathetic Binding. And everyone's like, oh, what's this? Whereas Taliesin says, hey, guys, I'm going to drop a mic later. Can you wait? Can you not wait?
Yeah.
And then he's like,
Well,
hey,
this-
I just dropped the mic, guys.
He's like, and now I need to roll for rage. You need to roll for rage?
Like, yeah,
this
it's
will be
interesting. Oh, yeah.
I literally just mock rolled a dice and it's a natural 20.
Hey, look at you. Too bad I couldn't help you out today. I'm going to roll it right now, and I'm going to get a natural 4. Oh.
Mm.
Hey, man.
So,
I'm
hey,
all
man,
spent
that's
out.
I'm done as well. So what do you think is going to happen next week?
Well, geez, they had the
We got-
battle. Oh, man. So
got
someone's going to
them-
know about it.
Well, the Moon Buffalo Stampede, right? So we've got this that they full on said they're going to try and use that as an alibi. So they might
Core, right?
the Wu Cores. Oh, we also got. I'll drop those three names. So the Wu Cores are the Moon Buffalo. Avedons, those were the panthers that we saw in '83. Faceless panther things that they were riding. Dono says faceless panthers that they use as mounts and for hunting. They're moon wargs. So we got Moon Buffalo, we got moon wargs, and then we got Fescul. Fescul. He says those are the storm riding winged beasts.
Mm-hmm.
Haven't seen them yet, but there's fucking moon dragons. Or wyverns. They're probably moon wyverns. That's what they probably are.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Cool.
There's a lot more to see, man.
Cool.
A lot more to see. Oh man, I really hope I'm getting picked up enough.
How long do you think they're going to be on the moon for? Because this was supposed to be a recon mission.
Yeah, and they're not being super quiet right now.
And they've had a short rest. They've not done a long rest yet. Because as soon as they do a long rest, that fucking windwalk is gone. It's gone. So they can't be farts anymore. So they got to use that as best they can to get the fuck out of there. They will have teleport because FCG's got Ludinus's staff.
Okay.
And it's got teleport charges in it. If he rolls every morning for charges, but I think they need full charges in it. He used it once already.
I think they need
and
6 for teleport, right?
Right, and he used one, which means they can't teleport anymore. Until remember at 83, he said, "Yeah, I fucked up. I shouldn't have used that." He used it for Misty Step, I think. It was either 83 or 82, I forget. So
82.
they don't have enough charges to teleport anywhere, but they will if they long rest. So they could, in theory, they could teleport back to the bloody bridge and then whoop.
Right. They would have to be back somewhere, right? Because they'd have to be able to see it. They have to be familiar with it, right?
They can't teleport. I don't think you can teleport across planes. I'm not totally sure about that one, but I'm fairly certain.
Including Moon to Exandria.
Oh, sorry, not
Exandria.
planes. Yeah, you can't teleport. Oh, they could do. Does
I'm pretty
Fern
sure
doesn't?
you could probably
Fern
do it
doesn't have
locally.
plane shift yet, right?
I don't think so.
No, and I don't. If you can, no, that can't work. That lattice around the moon has to be keeping everything out. That's the whole reason for the bridge, right? So nothing can get through it.
Yeah.
Although they can do sending on the moon, which is interesting.
Like locally?
Yeah, I remember he said Imogen used her last spell to do a sending to Zesh.
Yeah.
Ask them where they were.
Yeah. So like the teleport could work, but they just have to be able to. They have to be familiar with it, right?
Yeah, it would have to be on the moon.
Yeah. So locally on the moon. So
locally,
they could go back to the bridge as soon as they do
And
the
then-
recon.
Fall in, get out, and then they land back in the shitstorm again. That is the excavation site.
Right.
How the fuck do they get back?
Someone's gonna be waiting for him, man.
What you do, the way to do that is whoever can cast Misty Step, which is like 2 or 3 of them, 3 or 4 of them maybe at this point, just they ready the action to Misty Step or Dimension Door or something, I think you can only Misty Step yourself. Maybe Dimension Door, and then you Dimension Door everybody to the top of or to somewhere way far away. Man, getting back is going to be tough.
Who has Dimension Door?
I don't know. Maybe Fern. Maybe FCG.
It's like
maybe
someone your size or smaller can go with you.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep. So Fern, you can cheese this, and you could have polymorph or druid shape into like something small, and then in your pocket, and then remember that whole fun stuff that they did in campaign 2 with what was the weasel's name?
The Traveler.
Sprinkle.
Sprinkle.
With Sprinkle when they're trying to do Dimension Door and stuff, and Fern's like Jester was like, but what about Sprinkle? Does that mean they count as a? And
it
it's
came
always
up
been
many episodes later, like, I have to say this.
Yes.
One willing creature.
Yep. Yeah. What if Sprinkle is not willing? Then they just get left behind.
Yeah, I forgot how that was retconned, because it was fine, but
it didn't matter, but it might matter at some point. So yeah. Anyway, thoughts and things.
Yep. Well, we just gotta wait for the next episode. We do get another episode this week, right?
We do, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. And when we gotta work, fuck.
I'm so not ready to go back to work, dude. I'm just getting better.
I haven't been to work since the 18th of January, dude. At this point, it'll basically be a full month before I go back to work. I don't want to go back. Not a bit.
These long Chinese New Years, dude, they're terrible for work. You know,
well,
unless you really like your job.
I do, but I wouldn't go to work if I didn't have to.
Yeah, my last day was the 19th of January.
Right. My last day was the 18th.
And my first day back is the 16th, but we got to work Saturday also to make up for Thursday.
Silly.
Work Thursday. Fuck.
Silly guys. Silly.
One day off on a weekend, it's not enough,
it's
man.
Not fair. Hemingway. Let's wrap this up, buddy. Wrap it up.
All right. Well, geez, it's been a while. I'll leave this right here. Gosh, lots to discuss.
85 incoming in 3 days.
Yeah. Ahardian says, thanks again for streaming. It's always a chill time here, and I love hearing the scientific facts sprinkled throughout. Take care.
Thanks, buddy. We appreciate you too.
Yeah, thanks for getting involved. Speaking of getting involved, any other comments or whatever you want to get in touch, all that information, get in the comments down here. Yep. We've got his Instagram, or all his socials. He's bengreenspoon. I'm drummatucka on Instagram. Mm-hmm. I think I still have my band information down there if you want to check out our new albums and some other shit. But yeah, basically, any conversational stuff, get in touch down here. Don't
love,
we never
neutrality, hate. We'll take it all, man. Yeah. We don't care.
Yeah, if we're completely
you want to shit on us, go ahead. We welcome it.
We welcome it. We'll take it, and we'll shit on each other next time we chat. Yeah.
Nothing but love, man. Nothing but love for everybody.
As always. And hey, man, I guess if nothing else,
nope.
Don't forget to love each other. And is it finally Friday?
Peace,
everybody. Thanks again for chiming in. We'll see you next time. Maybe next time I'll be sitting down again. Peace.